Hello, everybody. Welcome to Creating the Conversation with Me and You Education. Myself, Imran Muhammad, and my mate and my friend, Mr. Ivan Humble. This week, we said that we're going to dedicate our week, our day to some very significant individuals, all right? Those 22 beautiful lives, all right, that were lost in Manchester in May 2017. The reality of the matter is that they've lost their lives, but all the family members have also lost life because of these individuals. And the truth of the matter is this.
Yeah.
The individual, and let me say this, the individual got convicted, the terrorist himself, the brother of the suicide bomber. He didn't want to face him. He did not want to face him.
Yeah, I'm disappointed at that because I think he should have been made to listen to the upset and that they'd caused. Because as the public, we're not seeing any remorse or anything, are we? Do you know what I mean? We're not seeing nothing. So when you don't see anything, we make our own story up in our head. What's going on? Do you know what I mean? I think it should all be about the survivors and their families now. The attacker's got his sentence. He should be forgotten about. But sadly, the press, the media will keep him alive every year. When there's an anniversary, it'll be him they talk about and not so much about the people still trying to rebuild their lives. That's what disappoints me about attacks. We never give enough focus to the people that have been affected.
What were your reflections? What were your thoughts at that particular time?
I'm not going to lie to you. I was angry. Do you know what I mean? Of course, the anger was there, but I deal with anger differently now than I did before. But the anger was definitely there because, like you said, it was the children that was attacked. Do you know what I mean? It was because it was children. Although there's a lot of negatives that day, the next day, you then started seeing what I call the positivity side of the disaster.
Yes.
And that is how Manchester came together. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So we were up there for a couple of days. There's one person I remember speaking to, and that was a homeless guy. He was just sitting there. We bought him a coffee and had some food with him. I said, "What do you remember?" He said, "I just remember love. It was crazy. I was seeing people in front of me running together, helping each other." For him to say something like that to me, it touched me because he was a person who maybe down on his luck, not got much hope or aspirations. But the love he had for Manchester and the people was, it was touching. Do you know what I mean? And I think that's the side people don't see. We only see the bad things or what the papers tell us. We don't get the real stories from the real people. Do you know what I mean?
It is what is done. And let me touch on this. I think it has unified people, right? It has brought out people of all cultures, all backgrounds, all ethnicities, all religions, all dogmas. And through this horrific atrocity, it united everybody. Oh my God, I remember where they had put all the flowers for the memorial.
The sea of flowers.
Oh, exactly that. The sea of flowers. That's exactly what it was. Every single person, had, I remember this. I was there myself. Tears in the eyes. We had, now see, a lot of people don't know about this. We had scholars, imams, right? We had priests, we had rabbis that had come from all around the country to stand in solidarity. And I think that was a very powerful gesture, all right, by individuals of all faiths and no faiths to stand together. The sea of flower. Oh my God, Ivan, it was unbelievable, mate. And keeping that in mind, we're very, very lucky today that we have a very good friend of ours, Figen Murray, who's going to come and speak to us today. Figen is the mother of one of those who had fallen and died on that particular day. And she's here with a mission. And we want to help her with the mission. Shall we call upon Figen Murray? Welcome.
Hi, good evening. I have to say, I was listening obviously to what you guys just said. And I actually have a totally different opinion to the guy not coming up from the basement up into the dock to listen to the witness impact statements. I was one of the mums who read out her statement, and I was, I think, number 4, and 3 people before me went, and they all really, really cried and sobbed, and they broke their hearts. And I'm glad he wasn't there and saw them like that,
Yeah.
because I didn't want him to have the satisfaction that he actually hurt people and see that. So I was personally really happy that he wasn't there, because the people that mattered, the journalists who will take out what they've experienced in court, the police, the judge, the legal team, they were the important ones to hear it. And they were all there, they listened, you know.
Powerful. See, I never
Yeah.
thought about it like that. And I think you're right. No, I agree with you, because I think when we were watching what we watched the week before with the individual who had come up, he did listen. Oh my God, these emotions were raw. They were in his face.
Yeah.
All right. He was the audience and he didn't flinch.
He didn't
No
care.
emotion. He didn't care.
He
That's
didn't
that's
care.
you're right.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. You are right. And I think that's a different way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Good that he didn't.
Yeah.
Right. We're not going to give him satisfaction.
Yeah.
All right. To feel that, yeah, you've done some harm to us. All right. I've got to see that different side. So, Figen, a heavy thing has happened. Difficult thing has happened.
Yeah.
But finally, sentencing has been done. 55 years, 24 life sentences have been given out to this individual. This person is not getting out. This person is going to finish within the 4 walls of a prison. That's a reality. What were your own sentiments, your own feelings, and how did you feel that the rest of the families and the parents felt at that time?
Again, there was, I think, in the general public and probably within some of the families, probably a bit of anger that he didn't get life properly and that it was limited to 55 years. But again, I see that differently, because the judge explained very clearly that under the British legal system, that's all he can give. And at the end of the day, he gave one of the most, longest sentences ever given in this country.
That's right.
So how much fairer can it be? And like you said, he's not going to come out of prison. And well, what else can be done? Death penalty? We are not that uncivilized. You know, this is a civilized country. You can't go for that. It's you know, I saw comments like that on Twitter. It's nonsense. You know, 55 years is okay.
Especially if you think about it, if we did have the death penalty, he would have got martyrdom. It's what they're after, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think
True.
I think him spending 5 years in prison is probably the best thing you could ask for, really. The death penalty would have given what he wanted, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at a different angle. But you did something that I kind of admire as well. You forgive him, didn't you, Figen? For the viewers to understand that, how could you sort of forgive somebody that took something so precious away from you? Do you know what I mean? I think if I'm honest, I'd have problems with that myself. Okay. I don't think I could ever forgive him.
A lot of people do have problems with it, but you see, obviously he killed my son, the guy who did the arena attack, and I was completely gutted. I'm distraught about it, obviously, all the time. But about 3 days after the attack, I happened to see the front page of a newspaper somebody put on my dining room table. And I froze, because I was shocked at the young age of this guy who did the arena. And I thought, my goodness, you're just a foolish young boy. Why would you do that? Why on earth would you throw your life away and that of our loved ones? And again, I knew that his brother was younger even. So when I saw him in court and the brief moments we locked eyes on a couple of occasions, I again looked at him thinking, gee, you're so young. You are so young. What do you know of life? You know, you couldn't have made that decision in a sensible, rational way, because you didn't understand what you were doing. That is the reason why I have no problem forgiving them, because I feel that I think both of them were just pawns in a bigger game. And I think the bigger game is the organizations behind them, because none of those people who organize these awful ideologies send their own children or grandchildren with suicide bombs into places. They radicalize other people and send them instead.
It is a larger picture, and I think so that what you've just stated is crucial, very important to see the bigger picture. I'm gonna bring in something else, Figen, and I think you are an individual that is very proactive, but I also know that you're not doing this just for yourself. Do you want to share that with me, please?
What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to build a way of safety for venues, not just big venues like the arena, but really I thought about, well, actually security isn't really thought through in this country properly after the attack, because you can go anywhere in theatres and cinemas and, you know, there's nothing. We need to catch up with terrorism, because I feel terrorists are always 1 or 2 steps ahead of us.
Yeah, obviously.
And you know, their methods have changed, the methodology has changed, the way they apply terrorism in this country and all across Europe and the world, it is different now. So we need to change things.
So what are you proposing? What are you saying that needs to be
Yeah.
what needs to be done?
Right, it's a very simple thing I'm asking for. It's called Martyn's Law, a piece of legislation I'd like the government to implement that should be just as important as health and safety and fire safety. So when you think about any venue, restaurant, pub, club, cinema,
Yes.
there's legislation that lays down how many toilets you have to have, how hot the food has to be in the canteen, or how hot the popcorn has to be, etc., etc. Yet there is nothing about safety or security, and that I feel that needs to change. So
It does.
Martyn's Law is 5 steps. Step number 1 is that you get the majority of your staff to do the 45-minute free of charge ACT e-learning package online. It's an online program, and it can be part of an induction when you start a new job, you know, and it teaches you about your environment, how to recognize if there's a package that's suspicious, what to do if you see somebody acting weird, what you do, how would you behave in a terrorist attack. It explains all of that. It teaches you as a private person. Point number 2 would be that every organization, every establishment that has customers does a risk assessment for vulnerabilities in terms of terrorism, that they go around the building and check where is the vulnerabilities. Because when you think of London in Borough Market, people just walked around and walked into cafes and attacked people randomly.
That's right.
So people need to know where the vulnerable areas are in their building. As soon as they are identified, it takes me to point number 3. Any identified problem areas, mitigate them, deal with them, sort them out. So if a restaurant, for instance, the back door is a bit sticky and stiff, change the lock, you know, or sort the door out, so that if there is an attacker coming in through the front door, you can take your customers and staff quickly out the back door. So it's that kind of thing. So that's number 3. Number 4 is that every organization or establishment has a written down terrorism action plan, a solid one in place specific to that venue. And number 5 is more for bigger venues, not small restaurants, cafes, or whatever, but it's more for bigger establishments that have hundreds and hundreds of people going in. And that is, if necessary, work with the local government. So, for instance, at a gig, at a big arena, at a football event, etc., where thousands of people go in and out, that you work with a local authority, and they may do simple things like the town could, the council could change the timing of the traffic lights, for instance, at the beginning of an event and the back of the event, so at the end, so that traffic moves in and out quickly and people don't assemble too much and have to be in queues, so that people just the people just flow through quicker. And they're simple things. It's not, I was criticized initially about, gosh, you're going to make us bankrupt and you're going to form queues outside and that's going to be a risk. They can all be avoided. There are ways around it, and as for the expense, I made a point even to buy a handheld metal detector just to prove that it's not expensive to have security. It cost me about £25.
Yeah.
If somebody tells me they can't afford it, I'll buy it for them.
The Lord have mercy.
know.
No, but I think you're right. And keeping in mind MEN and what happened in 2017, a
Yeah.
lot of a lot of that could have been sorted or dealt with if these particular key points were kept in mind.
Hopefully, whatever comes out of that, recommendations will be made. But I think for the future, I think if Martyn's Law does become a reality, however they call it, hopefully you'll never stop terrorist attacks, but hopefully it'll limit the amount of
Yes.
opportunities, and that's one of the main aims of it.
Once we progress with Martyn's Law and other activities that you're doing, I hope you will come back to us, give us a bit of a update of what's going on throughout whatever's taking place, whatever's happening, whatever's taking place at that particular time. Give us a shout. We are ready to scream with you. And thank you guys.
Thank you
God
so
bless you.
much.
And our hearts and our reflections and our prayers go to all of the family members, all of the friends who have lost these beautiful souls. God bless you, and God bless
you.
every other human being. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, and see you next week.